Everything starts within. The secret to true transformation. Most of us look outside of ourselves for the answers when making lasting changes. We try diets, new workouts, and self help books, but they all seem to fall short. The secret to true transformation lies within. In this video, CindyMarie discusses the importance of mindset work and how to create lasting changes. Watch now for tips and inspiration, and you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. Let me introduce our incredible guest today. Her name is CindyMarie, and she was born in South Africa and raised in the Philippines and Indonesia. Her personal and career life evolved in Singapore, and she is currently based in Spain and continues pursuing her biggest mission and purpose in life. She has multi-diverse cultures within her and the humble beginnings where she belittled the country she's from, her color, and her credentials. Because of that, she has fought so hard to be seen, recognized, and appreciate her value until she realized that everything has to start from within. The journey taught her to be resilient and over time embrace her authenticity and uniqueness so that the gift embedded within her slowly begins to shine out. And self esteem and self confidence boost on its own. To set an example and share more of that gift with people who need her most, transform and empower more people's lives. She's an environmentalist and a philanthropist by heart. Her biggest mission and purpose is to make an impact and contribute even small actions to make our planet better than we found it. Please help me welcome CindyMarie.
Hey, thank you so much, April. That's wonderful.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on the Wellness Driven Life show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited.
Well, tell us, I know that we got a little snippet of your biography, but tell us more.
Sure. Just to, I think, to continue what you have mentioned earlier, what most people don't know about me is that I was a people pleaser. So you mentioned earlier that I was born in South Africa, and I was the only one who's born outside the Philippines. And my mom tried her very best to documented everything so she could flew or bring me back to Philippines. And when I was younger, I have no idea during that time. I think 5 to 6 to 13 years of age, that whenever I'm having this conflict with my siblings, they're gonna give me some statements that really stuck in my mind. Those are, you are different, you don't belong, you have a different father, you are adopted, and also you you don't belong, you're adopted, and something within that, statements. And when you're younger, you don't even know what's that supposed to be mean, but over time, with the behavior and action of those people around you, started to realize, oh, that's what it meant. So I started to realize when my late aunties or great grandma or my mom will have some of my siblings favorite, and none of them actually favorited me. So I'm like, oh, so that's the meaning of I don't belong. And I felt like, how can I be belong then? I want to be loved. When you're younger, you want that attention, right? And so all of this feeling has extended all the way to my mid 30s. And but what's so interesting, even though I was a people pleaser back then, I've already have this attitude of being good negotiator. And my story with that, it was in university. I was having this strong feeling with this guy, and the feeling was mutual. However, when he wanted to pursue this to the next level, he asked a permission to my late auntie, and she said, allow her to finish first, and whatever that happens, and then you can do whatever you want. I was so disappointed, of course. I was so sad, and even the guy, he didn't do anything. He just accepted it, and I felt like, okay, I don't want to disappoint my auntie, but at the same time, I have to do something that I'm not happy with that side of my story. What can I do to make my other side of story happy? And I was doing a lot of extracurricular activities back then. And so I made a condition with my auntie. Like, I told her that, okay, I'm going to accept this, but you're going to allow me to do my extracurricular activities with no problem, because I was already doing the singing and dancing outside the university as well. And I was part in the band. So I was the singer. And you know that it could be troublesome because you have to leave home late and you come in the middle of the day. But then that actually brought me to really build my confidence, because I was already exposed at a young age, like even 5 years old or six, because I already started singing back then. So it really boosted my confidence. But at the same time, I don't have that strong self esteem. So I had this conversation in one of my interviews. I mentioned that there's a difference between self esteem and self confidence. It has to be hand in hand. You can be confident, but you're not comfortable with your own being, you know? And
Mm.
that was me before, that I have created that self confidence. I'm so great at this, but at the same time, I was a pleaser. And until one day, like, it happened in the Singapore, because I told you, and you mentioned this on the introduction, that I have fought so hard to prove myself, to prove my worth in this company, because I have been working in a multinational companies, and I felt like, despite of showing them, proving them, I still felt like it's not enough. I'm not enough. And that feeling when you're younger, that you have that trauma, that you're not enough. So I finally told myself at that point that this is it. It's not going to help me anymore to keep on pleasing people. I just not sure why, but I think at point, when you have a calling, somehow at some point, the universe or the God will give you a certain situation that you will definitely just surrender. And at that
Mm.
point, when I quit, because I remember this person, or the my manager at that time, this person was telling me that, once you quit, your working visa will no longer valid, therefore that you gotta go back to your country. And
Mm.
I felt really, like, yeah, I understand that, but that person wasn't aware that I have already planned in the processing of moving to Spain. Anyway, so when I quit, I have no backup plan. I
Yeah.
just mentioned to my boyfriend, now my husband, that I just need to reflect. I need my space to really look into, what do I really want to do? What is it really that the universe or God is telling me to do next? And there's so many things or characteristics that I have that I couldn't understand. Like, I've always been mistaken of speaking the truth. People know me or see me as very confident, but I'm also struggling behind the scene of my being a people pleaser, until I said, what is it that's my gift? And I realized that being authentic, being unique, being different, and being speaking the truth, that actually already my gifts. I'm just not allowing that to accept. and finally embracing that and share that to people who needed me most. And so when I started to embrace my authenticity, slowly but surely, things happening, things showing up. For example, the Empower Your Life show that I have created in the peak of pandemic. I always have high empathy and compassion with people, and seeing people having this anxiety, depression is just killing me. And I told myself, got to do something. I don't know what, I don't know how, but just create that something. And that's how Empower Your Life show born. In the beginning, it actually meant to be only myself. I share people, my experiences, my stories on how to empower people's lives. But then I was actually challenged by one of the podcasters that no longer doing anything with this podcast. This person told me, "Oh, I think if you're gonna speak the truth, it's going to be challenging for people to take you or listen to you." And again, I'm being tested of speaking the truth,
Mm.
but that didn't really put me down. That actually made me feel more, I've got to change. Okay, that's fine, I listen to you. So what can I do so people can listen to or watch my Empower Your Life show easier? And that's how, seeing people adapting with the changes. And I see my ex-colleagues transferring one company to another or building their own businesses. And I said, okay, well, let's interview people then. Those people who decided to make us change, shift from one company to another, or shift from company to making their own businesses. However, eventually it has changed because obviously Empower Your Life is a true reflection of myself. That now I am here as a coach. I navigate and I'm a tool for people to really transform their lives to whatever business or career or personal life that they're working on. And I said, well, let's bring the leaders, the entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, change makers, light workers, healers, you name it, to bring awareness that whatever success or whatever journey that you're taking to be a successful person, there's a lot of work behind that. And this is why I bring all these people to bring more of their stories, practices, and principles, just so people be aware that don't be caught up with the social media, because social media mostly is just part of what they're doing, or mostly it could be created. So that's what I created with Empower Your Life. And now, navigating people's a journey to really have that clarity or being conscious. And April, I'm a very ambitious person in a good way. And I
Yeah.
told myself, okay, well, I'm a podcast host, I'm a coach. What else can I do of putting it all in? I said, okay, I've been really, really wanting to be a public speaker, even when I was young.
Mm.
And so I have a story to express. I have a story to share. I can empower people's lives. And I've been practicing and honing that to engage my story. And I said, well, okay, well, how can you be authentic and unique? And I said, I don't want to let go of my singing. So I told myself, okay, if there's will be an invitation for speaking in public or online, I'm going to include my singing, because that's who is CindyMarie is all about. And that's my
Oh.
story. And that's what I've been doing now, April.
Oh my goodness. So Cindy, I was always enthralled by your story when we first got together and had a little chat. I was very enthralled in your story. And you
Thank you.
have definitely, I know that you enjoy speaking of resiliency, and that is such a huge factor and word that we utilize with the experiences that you've had since a young child
Yes.
and moving on into your young adult life and then into adults. So, thank you so much for sharing some of that. And I'm really looking forward to maybe getting some song out of you today. Because if you are looking to hit the stage with song, I would love to see what does that look like for you. So let's go to our first commercial, and then when we come back, let's hit a little bit more on the resiliency factor and what that means to you and some of the things that we can do. Stay
Awesome.
tuned. Welcome back. So I really want to know because your story, you've got so many trials and tribulations involved in growing up. And I'm a firm believer in through those experiences, it just gives us this boost and encourages us to find a different way, show up in a different
Mhm.
way, which is what called resiliency. And so tell me a little bit more about what are some tips and tricks for people who are needing to tap into that resiliency factor.
Sure. So I'm trying to recall myself. One of the factors that really helped me to be resilient in all challenging events that happen in my life, I would say being optimistic.
Mm,
Um, One of the interviews that I had actually helped me to recall who actually from my family members influenced me to be optimistic, and that was my late grandma. So she's always happy despite that we don't have much, but she will always provide us something with her smile, her laughter, her
mm.
dance moves, and that
Dance
embedded,
move.
yeah, that embedded with me,
Wonderful.
that in life you always have a choice to make. And I always believe in that,
Yeah.
that if you choose to be pessimistic of your life, it's very likely that you're going to attract more negativity. But if you choose the optimism, the very likely you have more opportunities to grow, to learn, and of course it's a lot of pain as well that you're going to experience, but that's the beauty of pain. It's a gift, actually, for whatever
Mm,
pain that you encounter in your life. It's a gift if you see it that way. So most of us, we see it as we are the victim, right? We are in
yep.
prison of all the circumstances. But what I have learned in my life is see all the things that are happening in your life as a learning growth, as a gift. What is it in that situation, let's say, it triggered you some pain? Maybe because the situation is asking you to forgive some situation. Maybe the situation is asking you for forgive or heal the person that caused you pain. I mean,
Mm,
I experienced that before many times. I mean, I thought that before doing with the coaching, I have forgiven many people that caused me pain. But then doing that coaching, that really developing your self awareness, that will be the time that I realized, oh my God, despite that being optimistic, I still have that pain within me that I haven't let go and forgive other people. So, first thing is really about optimism. And second is will be, how do you respond with all of these things that are happening in your life? And many of us choose to be on a negative, but many of us also, just to let you know, that we are all subconscious with our decision. We always think that we don't have a choice, but because we don't know ourselves so well, this is why being conscious of who we are is very vital. And that takes a lot of work, all right?
yeah.
But I think understanding and accepting first that we have a choice in every situation that's happening in our lives is a good enough to moving forward. And then the second thing or the third thing will be really developing your self-awareness. What do you really want? Who are you? Like what's your interest? Like when you are not surrounded by anybody, what do you love to do? What always things that trigger you? What are those things that inspire you? Without the influence of other people, because one of the things that I've learned over time, that being a people pleaser, I conditioned myself from what the society is telling me to do.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that, Cindy Marie, because I think that a lot of people struggle with that. That
Yeah.
they are this people pleaser, and they show up so much outside of themselves for everybody else and don't really concentrate on them, and
Yes.
and where there's such a high importance of taking care of ourselves and taking care of ourselves first in order to even show up for anyone else.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, with that statement that you mentioned, April, we couldn't blame ourselves because that's how we've been raised as well. You
Yeah.
know, in the beginning, I thought I was blaming people who raised me this way and that way. But then I realized that the moment that you can shift your perspective, the moment that you own everything that's happening in your life, it's a gift for yourself that I can't blame anybody now. The moment that you are aware,
Yeah.
that when you're aware,
Key
that's the
words
key.
here. It's owning, not blaming anymore, and being aware of that. And I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can continue on in that. Please keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
because I love that.
I'm just saying because there's a true power of really investing, of knowing yourself.
Mm,
A lot of us don't like to do that. First is because a lot of work. It's an inner work that
yeah.
we have a lot of judgment to ourselves. We have a lot of criticism with ourselves. But what people don't know, that the moment that we invest for self-awareness within ourselves, we realize that the self-love, the self-care, speaking gently to ourselves, we deserve that. And that moment when we know that we can do that to ourselves, we can also express that outside, because we know that for us, it's the golden rule, right? How you want to be treated, you treat to yourself first. You give it to yourself first so you can give it back to other people. And it goes back to the self-awareness. This is why I'm so passionate of speaking about the self-awareness, the resiliency, and being optimistic. So the summary of that will be you can be unstoppable.
So I want to ask you, we're going to go to another commercial, but I really want to go into CindyMarie. When was the time that you really started seeing, sensing, feeling, healing? And I ask that because you know the work that you need to do for yourself. And with the amount of trauma that you've experienced throughout your life, you know how that shows up in our bodies and how we show up internally, externally. So when we come back from this commercial, I want to know, when did you start seeing the healing within? Stay tuned.
Bella Grace Skincare. It's more than skincare. It's your shortcut to a more youthful, healthy, and beautiful you. Step 1. Cleanse with the Enzyme Collagen Cleanser. Gently exfoliates and removes dead skin cells. Brightens and evens out skin tones. Repairs damage caused by environmental stressors. Protects skin's barrier function. Use daily for clean, smooth, glowing skin. Experience the Bella Grace Enzyme Collagen Cleanser for a refreshing start and a radiant finish. Step 2. Treat with the Dewy Serum. Deeply hydrates and locks in moisture. Protects from free radical damage. Targets multiple signs of aging. Boosts microcirculation, revealing a youthful, radiant, dewy complexion. Dewy Serum goes beyond ordinary skincare, leading you to a realm of glowing, rejuvenated beauty. Step 3. Replenish with the Collagen Plumping Moisturizer. Reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Deeply hydrates. Boosts collagen production. Firms and smooths the skin. Experience an intense surge of moisture that leaves your skin feeling supple and soft to the touch. Celebrate your skin and elevate your beauty with Bella Grace Skincare.
can find out more about Bella Grace in the link in the description below. Now, CindyMarie, tell me what and when and how, what did it look like? How do you feel? Are you still on that journey? Tell me about the healing that you have gone through and experienced on this journey.
I think it really started when I quit that job. Why I kept on saying that? Because that was the start. That was the start when the universe was telling me, I think, that CindyMarie, this is the time for you. You've been stubborn. You are different, you know? So one story is about that, how I felt in that company. But when I quit and I started to embrace my real me, April, what happened is that I shared earlier the speaking the truth. Speaking the truth also started to lead me to a path whereby those people who I'm close with back then, they started to disappear. And this happening during my like close to my wedding in Bulgaria. And I started to feel like why all of these people started to disappear just for me because I'm speaking the truth. And I actually became like the enemy of the group, the mean, because I have the gut, the courage to say the truth. And then it was so painful for me, April. I felt so abandoned. Abandoned word for me is so heavy. Whenever I felt that, I felt always feel crying because again, that bringing you back to the childhood trauma that you're not belong.
Yeah.
And because of that situation, it brought me back to my childhood memory. Like, oh my God, I feel abandoned again. And there's just something within me. I think being optimistic also allowed me to continue. Many people telling me, I don't believe that you can be so sad, you can be so down, you can be so disappointed or angry. I said, well, because you only see the other picture of me or you only see the other side of me. But I have gone through so many things, which I'm sharing it now to the listeners or to the viewers, that was the point. And I didn't realize that until actually I told myself that I just need to get out Singapore. That was the decision I told myself, that I want to get out of here. I don't know how, but I really want to get out because I really want to spread my wings finally to really show who I am. And I just felt that Singapore is no longer the place for me. And I was so grateful that my husband and myself were so aligned that he also wanted to get out Singapore. And a lot of people find it very courageous for me to move out because I've been there for 13 years. You're going to start from scratch. And I'm very, very adventurous. This is why I have that tagline in my website, because I am really adventurous. I'm going to try everything just to really allow myself, where can I be if I move there?
Cindy, let me ask you, because I think that you've hit on a lot of really powerful points. And you said that when you started feeling that healing time, that people in your life started leaving as you were living in your truth and expressing that, people were falling away.
Yes.
And then outside of that, you decided that you were going to leave the country that you were established in, rooted in order to begin anew.
Yes.
And I think that there's a lot of power in that. And I think you're correct. It is scary. And that is a brave thing to do. And not a lot of people do that. But what would you say about that as maybe a recommendation to consider?
I think if you want to grow, I mean, as I think one of the adage or the phrase, they say that if you're not going to allow yourself to keep on growing, you're almost killing yourself. So I'm a big believer to be a lifelong learner. So I always allow myself to learn. I always allow myself to explore, because through that exploration, you wouldn't know your potential, right? And it doesn't have to be, I mean, my move was really huge. You don't have to, one of the things I've learned over time is that you don't have to move out the country, because if you're keeping that pain, for me, I when I left the country, I reached out to all the people that caused me pain, because I want to heal. I want to be the first one to seek forgiveness. So I told them, forgive me for what I have done to you. And I did that through audio messages. So it's more, intentional and connected. And after that, I told myself, whatever that is, if people didn't respond back to me, I'm fine. But I just needed that.
Yeah. So you're saying part of your healing journey was really, truly, actually reaching out to your family, your friends, your loved ones, to the people that you have had interactions with throughout your life and experiences with that, weren't the greatest. And um and you set a goal with yourself that you weren't going to allow it to affect you however it was going to turn out.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's
listen,
amazing.
it's not easy, but this is
No.
why, for me, I always tell people that you don't have to do exactly what I do, because I'm an extreme person. I can tell you that, but not everyone's the same like me. So I teach, or I've encouraged people to take step by step.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't do such thing, then try something. So for example, a lot of people could be really anxious of putting themselves on social media, right? If you are not comfortable of doing that yet, express it into the photo, express it into caption, whatever you want, but just have a growth step by step, because and be consistent, because many people I have noticed that they want to achieve something different, but you also got to get out of your comfort zone. But you don't have to do such big steps. This is why a lot of people stop, because it's too difficult. So
Yeah.
what I recommend to people is start slowly, gently, and step by step, like baby steps, right? But do it consistently. So your body, your brain, you know I I teach this, or I recommend this to people, that in successful life, 95% is all about your mindset, and 5% is your strategies. So you
Mm.
can get all the strategies out there, but you've got to do it first in your mindset. You've got to pre-program that, and start with understanding that it's okay to take small tiny baby step every day.
Yeah. I tell us more about that.
The baby step.
Yes. Like what does that look like? What does that mean to you?
So for example, one of the great example I can give you, really, I wasn't really good reading book, by all honesty. And everyone who knows me before, they could see me for the first 2 pages, I could fall asleep. And then I realized that when I decided to make a huge change and transformation in my life, I just got to be committed. But one thing I found out is that I've got to find what it interests me to read a book. And then
Mm.
when I found out that it was all about personal development, human behaviors, and all of that, I started to collect book. And I started first to 2 minutes, 2 minutes every day. If not every day, actually every other day, 2 minutes. If it's too much, 2 minutes, then 1 minute, you know? But for my case, I started 2 minutes, and then it incremented to 5 minutes until I don't exceed much. So I allow myself, even up until now, 20 minutes a day. It has to be every day for me. But for many people, if you're not a good reader, I mean, you don't like reading, but you want to transform your life, reading, I would say, is really vital because it really feed you a lot of information. It will also shift your perspective in life. So what you can do is just experiment what kind of books that you really want to read that will help you grow, and then collect with that. So up until that you have collected, the first thing that you can do maybe is that telling to yourself that I'm gonna read book. I'm gonna read book. Do that for maybe 2 weeks. And then after that, you're gonna give yourself opening the book. Opening the book, just feeling the book. Doing that for another 2 weeks. And then now, you know what? Your brain is already starting to program that. Oh,
Yeah.
you remember, we have to feel the book. Your brain will your mind will tell you so. And then you increase,
Mm.
because the moment that you have that alignment with yourself that you want to change, and you given yourself a permission to shift, your body will also support you on that, or your brain will support you. The challenge is that our old self very stubborn.
Oh, yes. So
This
that's
is
a
why this
that's a
is
bit.
why
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry, this is why replacing the old habit little by little is more important than changing big time,
Mm.
because that will give the brain a slowly a message, a signal. Oh, we're changing. And then you can speak to your
Yeah.
brain that, listen, we want to change, right? So help me out here. I know you want to protect me. Our mind would like to protect us. This is why they want us to be in a comfortable or familiar. But I can guarantee you, the more that you practice to speak with your brain or mind nicely, the more that it will support you back. But just so you know, it will take time, but you can do it.
You can, and you gave such a awesome example of, setting that timer and doing it every single day. And I really liked how you viewed the pick a book that and a subject that really enlivens you, like what do you enjoy?
Yeah.
And, because then it's going to make it enjoyable, more so when you're starting and beginning a new habit, something that you really want to change and recreate in your world. And I want to go back a little bit too, because it's on my mind. How, um, you left your country, you moved out of country. It wasn't just nearby. And, it was a bigger thing. But what I enjoy about you is you really are this traveler, and you really are, excited about getting out there and exploring your world. And I think there's so much to that creative aspect of where
Yeah.
it it really helps change your brain also to new possibilities that are
Yes.
ahead. Because right now you're in Southern California, yes?
Yes.
And tell us again where your country is, and you're off to another place after this, Singapore?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're definitely a traveler, and that's exciting to me. And I just am curious of what you think the importance of that is.
That's a very good question. Basically, what most of us forget or forgot is to stay playful.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
you can see the comparison, how many adults really feel jealous with the kids, like, oh, I wish I could be kids. But the fact that you chose to be so serious in life, you have a choice that you can still be playful, you can still be explorers, you can still be as adventurous. But this time it's actually more gifted for you, that you are more aware that, okay, what can I do to make my life still fully happening? Abundance is following that magic.
Well, Cindy, let's move into this a little bit. If you're open to sharing, but you've talked to me a little bit, and I would love to talk to the audience about this, because I know that there are so many people that can relate with you. and having the choice or not being able to have children in their lives. And so how you deal with that, and how, like you're talking about, being playful still, and what can you do to embody that childlike essence?
Yeah, I think we just have to remind ourselves that every day we're given the opportunity to live. We felt that we are entitled to live every day, but in fact, this is a gift for us. And we can do so many things within our control. And that's the power that setting a goal or setting an awareness with yourself every day. Start with gratitude. What are you grateful for? You know? And most of us, I don't know, I mean, in my opinion, in my experience, most of us have already forgotten to notice the graceful of life, being graceful, or um, gratitude of living a life. We thought that we have all this 60, 75 years of life that we can have. But in fact, if you just use that or bring that awareness to yourself that I would love to be more abundant in my life, and I have a choice to make on that. And it's okay. It's okay to choose whatever life you want to have, for as long as you're happy, you're fulfilled with that. And we are so conditioned with our society. And this is why, I don't know if you have watched this, Don't Worry, Darling, April, but it's a very, I don't know, psychological movie where it actually talked about the real story about our life, that many of us chose to be in a conditional life because we are happy, that we think we are happy with the external stuff, that you might have all the big houses, big cars, whatever you name it, from the external, but you, deep inside of you, you're empty. But you chose to be that way because you are conditioned by the society's happiness. And you have this regret when you reach at the age of whatever that is, and you said to yourself that I wish. Why wait? Right?
Why wait?
Where you can do it now.
What did you say the name title of that movie was?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't Worry, Darling. I gotta. What I really loved about what you said is the gratitude factor, and reminding yourself, if there's something in your life that you don't have, that you wish you had, or what have you, it's so vital to bring up that gratitude aspect, because there's so much more of living. And
Yes.
so thank you for sharing that part of you. I know that that's not always easy. So let's go into another commercial. When we come back, I'm excited to share some of your family photos, and we'll get
Oh,
into that.
yes, thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Stay tuned.
KimJacobsConsulting.com. People say opportunity knocks on every door. Right. No. Opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. So I want you to recognize that this is a time for you. This is an incredible time to have your own talk show. It establishes a level of credibility.
Yes.
And by being exposed to people on a regular basis, it allows you to strategically begin to impact and attract your audience. She can take you in a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. So go to KimJacobsConsulting.com. That's KimJacobsConsulting.com. Did I say KimJacobsConsulting.com? Yes, you did. Very good. Make sure you go there and sign up for the coaching, and we're looking forward to working with you. You have something special. You have greatness within you.
I love Les Brown.
Yes, always puts a smile on the face. And Kim Jacobs is amazing. I cannot speak highly enough about her. And Obviously being coached by Les Brown himself, she's an incredible human being. So let's get back to this, Cindy Marie. I am excited to jump into this photo album. You have some beautiful photos to share. This photograph is of you. And why
Yes.
don't you start telling us about what we see here?
Well, this is actually the beginning of putting myself out there more with I want to be like really me. I remember the photographer asked me, well, can you do like this? Can you do more serious? And I'm like, that's not me. I want to show my
Mm.
me. So he even suggested, okay, that's fine. And just smile. And then he found out that, okay, the what do you call this, impromptu, like he will say that, oh, you actually know how to pose, you actually know how to smile. I said, no, I just feel comfortable. I just want to make sure that these photos will be coming out natural as possible, because that's my intention. I don't want to see like, there's a position that I have to work on, and people would see that, when you're too stiff with your position. And this is one of my favorite photos that he took, actually. And this is, I think, also one of my photos for my website and for my podcast as well.
It is, as it should be. It is beautiful and it's very authentic in the way that you're showing up.
Thank you. Oh.
Tell me about this photo. We've got a lot of people here.
Well, yeah, you can see it's back 2010. So these are my family. The one at the corner, I mean, on our right will be my eldest brother, and then my late auntie Tita Aya, and then my mom, and then my sister-in-law, and then my nephews and nieces. Oh, they're so cute. Well, they're all big now. And then my second brother, and behind will be in pink shirt will be my eldest sister. And then the next one will be my second sister, and that's obviously me. And then the last one will be my another sister-in-law with their son that unfortunately recently passed away.
Oh my gosh, so young too.
Yes, he died at the age of 13, I think, or 14, somewhere there.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
You do come from a big family, so it's lovely to see this aspect. Tell me about this picture. This is fun.
Yes. Whenever I visited, so this time I was with my husband, and I always want to make sure that I will see them and I will treat them somewhere. And so we were renting an apartment in Manila, in a big city. And so we just had, I think, lunch here. And then I said, okay, let's be goofy, let's have fun, and just smile and look at my niece Ella with the blue lipstick there, facing in the mirror. And there's another one, my another auntie. This is why I included this photo. He, I mean, she also passed away. I mean, 2018, I think. This was during pandemic, but I love her to death. I mean, she's amazing. And yeah, I when I'm with my family, it's just amazing feeling. I feel re-energized, and they are always my source of energy to keep moving forward. But at the same time, also reminding me that you've got to do something different, so you will not be on the same position as they're my inspiration in a good way.
Oh, I like how you said that. I like how you said that.
Thank you. And this is my husband's father in the middle, and that's his partner. So this is in Bulgaria. So that the food that you can see, that was a traditional food. One is the banitsa. It's a cheese pie, the more savory one, and I forgot the other one, but it's basically covered or wrapped in the
Grape
grape
leaves?
leaves, yeah, with
Yeah.
rice and some ground ground meat inside. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yes.
And you all look very jolly.
Yeah, I love to always put some accessories whenever there's a holidays, because I feel like, yeah, there's always creativity within me. And this I think this is the last photo. I think this is with my mother-in-law. So this is my husband's mom. So this is in Valencia in Spain. This is on the 26th or 25th of December. As you can see, it's still winter, and we thought that, let's go and visit the zoo, because it's going to be less people. It's not as good weather, but let's just get out of a house and spend time together.
Oh, I like that. Bundle up. And I like when there's less people too. So, and not last picture, you do have a few more. This is you and the hubby.
Yes, it was in Manila. This was first or second visit when I was with him. Yeah, so we explore Manila area, the tourist attraction, and it's both first time for both of us. And I love this photo because, I mean, I love simplicity, and it always goes back to how you feel inside. And yeah.
Oh, and this is one of my favorites personally.
Oh.
Tell me where this was too.
This is in Yastrebets in Bulgaria. It's amazing place. I'm so happy we did that wedding. And actually, you know what? It happened in October 2018, yeah, or 19. And that was already in the beginning of pandemic, right? Without we knowing it. And here we are, we're celebrating, and we were so grateful because after that, all the traveling stopped
Yeah.
in Europe. So this actually, as you can see, this is the family of my husband's sister. So the sister in the middle of the kids. So her name is the son will be Victor. Oh gosh, Alex, and then Romain and Svetla.
Put
So
it on the spot, weren't you?
yeah.
That's okay, and yeah, perfect timing. If this was pre-pandemic, right before, and it looks like you had an absolute beautiful wedding in a beautiful location.
Yes.
That's incredible. Good for you. And this is the final photo of you. I chose this as last because I really enjoyed this as well. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think this is the photographer was telling me, just be yourself and write down something, and then when he will call my name, just look up. And so yeah, so this is when I saw this. As you can see, I don't know if you would feel and notice it, I just love being simple, but at the same time there's a power inside of you, that this simple girl, you know, when she owned her power, she can do a lot of things, and she really hopeful that it will empower people's lives. And yeah, so stepping out of my big comfort zone.
I believe that's that's a big part of why I enjoyed the photo, and I love how you describe that. It's being empowered, stepping out of your comfort zone. So I want to make sure that our audience knows how to get in touch with you. And you can find CindyMarie at www.cindymarie.net. And as we come to a close today, let me know, to let our audience know what else that you want to share with us today. What is it that you're doing in the world? What's next for you?
Thank you for that opportunity, April. And I really enjoy this conversation, truly. What's next for me? I think, as I've always said to myself, I'm bringing myself more out there, like what I'm doing now with April, to share my story, to share my story basically, and to let people know that someone like me could be also someone like you, that if you feel that you have been belittled in entire your life and you feel like you don't have a choice to make, I would like to let you know that you have a choice to make, and it can be really tough to get out of that zone. But if you get out of that zone slowly but gently, I can guarantee you, you have more opportunities and possibilities waiting for you out of that comfort zone. So I want to empower you, that I hope that this story of mine brings so much power to believe in yourself, because it's really starting in believing yourself. And that's pretty much my calling, is to empower you to start and believing in yourself slowly, because eventually that power will help you to really unlock your potential. So I hope that this conversation of mine with April has been valuable and helpful for you.
Beautiful, incredible, and I love it. And tell me, CindyMarie, and maybe it's just something I fell upon, but are you partnering with others to make some changes and an impact in the world?
That's a very good question, because that's the intention of bringing out myself into more public. It's because I really want to collaborate with people who are in the same journey as I do. Doesn't have to be as bold as I do, but really in the stepping stone of making a difference, making an impact. So if you are in the same journey as I do and you would like to take that journey with someone who you see as resonate with your story, give me a call, or give me a message, or send me a message, or you can follow me on my social media. And for those people who would like to experience my coaching based on my story, you can reach out, or you can log into my website, CindyMarie.net, and we can definitely hop on a call and see if we can jive in a coaching session. And of course, for Empower Your Life, if you resonate with the mission and purpose that I'm having, just like April, you drop me a message, you connect with me, and get to know one another, and you can be the guest of my Empower Your Life show. And lastly, if you're looking, or if you feel that I could empower your events, your webinars, or anything, you could reach out to me as your lovely and gently, or a humble speaker for your show. So that's it.
Oh, you are doing wonderful things, CindyMarie. And
Thank you.
I really enjoyed looking at your website and learning more about you. You definitely are making an impact, and you definitely are doing that just by being here on the Wellness Driven Life Show. And we are so honored to have you and to share your story and light in the world. Thank you very much. So I
Thank
want to
you.
remind our audience, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I want to remind our audience that they can reach you. And there's going to be even more information in the description below. I always have jam-packed full of what this broadcast is about. And as always, our show is here with your generous contributions. We wouldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't be here to have these amazing stories and people on here to share what they're doing in the world. You can donate with the Wellness Driven Life Show in numerous ways. And really, when you go to the website, www.thewellnessdrivenlifeshow.com, when you donate there, you are left with this beautiful email that you can keep for your records. So I want to thank our audience again, and thank CindyMarie for being here on the Wellness Driven Life Show.
Thank you. Thank you. Such an honor. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. And so we are going to say goodbye for now. And it's a pleasure to have you. And we will see you tomorrow.